One of my all-time favorite features in video games is an open-world environment where you're allowed to do anything you want. From what I've been able to tell, though, there's no effect whatsoever on the environment. Every time we are promised a world where you can do anything and be anyone, it turns out to be a game with bugs, glitches, an overall atmosphere that feels copy and pasted time after time. It is strange how you'll run into NPCs in the world who are just on a loop, non-stop. Is this Call of Duty still? Because Call of Duty was on rails, a linear game. At this point, I'm surprised they don't make a totally open-world Call of Duty game. Because these titles, like Cyberpunk 2077 and Dying Light 2 Stay Human, are guilty, supremely guilty, of copying and pasting elements all over the world. Some that just make no sense, some that are literally cringe, some that are just unexpectedly, well, hilarious. And am I supposed to be laughing? Because I don't think that's the tone they were going for. I think they were going for heroic survivor, chopping down a tree for his family. He's gonna really toast them up, warm them up with this tree he's been chopping all day, and he's telling his story behind the scenes about his lore. Look, I know they wanted to sell this game in a way that made sense, but the narrative, the way it is driven, it doesn't. Even Dead Rising, a game from back in the day, told a better story through NPCs, even if they didn't have dialogue that was actually spoken, even if it was just text on the screen. They still tell a better story, a more emotional story, back in the day than now. I wonder why that is. Open world games, to me, have this sense of telling a story through various side quests. It's not always about the main story. That's the thing that I love. Games like Dead Rising 2 even stepped it up even further. Dead Rising 2's combat improved what was there before and didn't take away what they had already done so right before. The gore is next level in Dead Rising 2, and I can't believe that they would downgrade Dead Rising 4 to be this action, open world, huge environment that has nothing in it type of game. Because Dead Rising 1, you could go to a restaurant and smash all the chairs and the dishes and just have fun that way. This feels like Call of Duty. It's strange how far we've fallen from the glitches just to the general atmosphere of having nothing in the environment. It is odd, because Dead Rising was fantastic in the beginning. I kind of have a feeling it has something to do with gamers creating the first iterations of most of these titles, and actually now we have these corpo suits choosing what is in these games, choosing what level of immersion we're allowed to have. Because, I mean, look at all the crap on the screen. How am I supposed to feel anything? And especially when the game is glitchy, which I didn't get half of in the original on the Xbox 360. These days, even on the PlayStation 5, on a modern title like Watch Dogs Legion, you'll have an NPC disappear just because I shot them. Holy shit. And it's not just Ubisoft either. It's not just them. They have made some decent titles like Far Cry Primal, something I've always wanted to talk about on the channel, but haven't gotten a chance to yet. But then again, Ubisoft is another one of those companies that is so hit or so miss that drastically it goes from the tippy top down to the very bottom. I loved Far Cry 5. I love Far Cry Primal so far. It is enjoyable and the combat is something smooth. It is smoother than most of them. But when it comes to Far Cry 6 in particular, this is a game I have true trouble talking about because it is so enraging. It pisses me off that they could take Far Cry 5 and just downgrade it simply into the dust, into the dirt. I'm not saying Far Cry 5 didn't have bugs, because it obviously had bugs. Most Ubisoft games are buggy as hell, and that is just the truth. And if they don't wake up and smell that coffee, then people aren't gonna tune into their live service crap-ass game that is just filled with microtransactions. This right here is the beginning of the end for them if they keep going in this direction. Because they are destroying open worlds, okay? Open worlds are dying because of this copy-paste atmosphere where they just plant grass and just put it as far as the eye can go and plant a few trees and there's an open world. No, what I see is an open field of nothing to do. As a matter of fact, I'm so done with copy and paste open worlds, I'll say this. I'd rather do nothing in a game where the open world is so incredibly gorgeous and so filled with different areas and different sounds and things to feel, areas to explore and just be yourself in. That's what I love. When it comes to the copy and paste atmosphere of video games being open world and sandbox, well, I'll always choose the sandbox. The open world needs to go linear, because I am dead serious. Open world games are dying. One way you can stop open world titles from being trash is to not buy the live service open world games that are coming. The battle royales from Ubisoft all should be flushed down the toilet. Until next time, guys, may every road lead you to warm sands. And until then, ta-ta.